Alright, if there's any video you need to get in your mind, it's this one. Your life is not a competition. Your entire life is not a race. And no matter how much the internet tries to brainwash us into believing that you have to compare yourself with others to compete, in a race with other men, it's simply not like that. And I realized that it's kind of childish. The true way to outwork everyone, and the months that I made the most progress, was when I was completely focused on myself and I didn't just blindly compare myself and compete and try and be, win this artificial race that people are said that life is like. So I just want to share my way and another alternative way to outwork everyone, which I think that you'll find really interesting, and you'll realize that it's actually not as hard and as arduous to outwork everyone as the internet may make it seem. If we haven't met yet, by the way, I'm Aaron, straight A student in Kungsholmen Gymnasium, always loving up life. And maybe you can see here, but I'm in the gym of the school right now, so it's like a private gym, basically no one is here. But the first point I want to say is that it's not a race, but it's a marathon. Back then I thought it was a race, that you have to get to the results first and you have to make sure that you get it so that no one else can beat you, there was this YouTuber Hamza, he was very popular and he was kind of the one that started the self-improvement niche for young guys. Now he's falling off completely. But beside the point, he used to emphasize the fact that life is a race as a man. And you have to, beat the others and slaughter everyone to get to your goals. And, back then I thought that was full on how it is. But the more I mature, the more I realized that that's kind of childish. If you are truly goal-oriented and you truly are ambitious, then that you will realize is not the best way to make progress onto your goals, because that will really create a lot of emotional attachment to it. And if you are somewhat into religious beliefs like Christianity or Hinduism or whatever, then you will know that the best results come when you're kind of detached from reality. When you're detached from the results that you're going to get. And you still are goal-oriented, of course, but you're not emotionally attached to it. Hamza was saying of being in a race and shit. And I realized it's not really that auspicious, because do you really want to be one of those 14-year-olds who say that they're in a race and they're competing against each other whilst they're all are stuck in this little rabbit hole and they're just fighting amongst themselves like dogs? Sorry to be so condescending, but this is just, what I see, because I used to be one of them. I literally used to be not a 14-year-old, but a 15-year-old who was in that little game and stuck in that little script. And it was just false belief upon false belief that people implanted onto me and brainwashed me with. And this can sound very, new to you, especially if you are kind of stuck in this rabbit hole of self-improvement. Just hear me out. Just consider another perspective, In my experience, I made the most progress and I was out of this rabbit hole of people just fighting amongst themselves, and I just intended on my own goals. Are you trying to soothe your ego, or are you trying to achieve your goals? Which one, bro? Because saying it's a race and not a marathon, and that you're gonna beat other men and all that shit, although it's red pill, it's more soothing your ego and your fake masculinity than it is achieving your goals. Because achieving your goals doesn't require that much aggression and ego and that kind of stuff. Although people may say that it is, I realize that it's more about the religious beliefs say, being detached and just simply taking one step in front of another. That's how I made the most progress in my goals. Overall, I realized that long-term consistency beats short-term intensity, especially, bro, if you're looking for long-term goals, because short-term intensity, it's kind of instant gratification. You probably heard this term, but short-term intensity, you watch a motivational video or something, it gets you all riled up and emotional, and then you make some short-term progress, but the repercussions of that is super bad, and it will be in the long term not that good for you. On the other hand, if you stay detached and you just focus on doing it consistently and consistently improving, then the results will show for itself. And it kind of refers to the starting code that I chose. Success comes to those who keep working when others stop. I forgot the guy, and I think Gary Vaynerchuk, it's hard name to say. But yeah, and the last thing I just want to say is to stop comparing yourself with others. I remember that on the days where I, brutally compared myself with others, and every single time I used to do something or go anywhere, in the back of my mind, I used to always think, "Ooh, am I better than that guy? Oh, how's my money looking like? How's my status looking like? Is it better, or how is it compared?" And that just ends up creating a fuck ton of emotional attachment. That just completely destroys how much progress you can make in your goal, because you're so emotionally attached in those. And back then, I thought I was making good progress because I was comparing myself, and this is my constraints, these are my problems, and stuff like that. But now I realize how much progress you can truly make if you give up just comparing yourself with others and instead just focus on yourself. and focus on intending and fulfilling your intentions. In the long run, it is a waste of time. It does not accomplish much. And it just takes energy in the present when you're doing it, when you're comparing yourself with others. Because think about it, every time I compared myself with others, I got emotional, right? And that made me so I lost a bunch of energy, which instead I could have directed into my goals. I think that a bit of competitiveness is helpful. And, just like, if you're a male human filled with testosterone, you should have like some level of competitiveness, of course. But it's not to go to a point where you're brutally comparing yourself with others and you're creating a lot of excess emotional attachment, because that is when it starts to become precarious and it starts to take away from your goals. Honestly, I realized that I don't even care much about outworking every guy I know, whatever. I kind of just only care about realizing my intentions, and that, I think, as like a consequence of that, I just end up outworking everyone I know. And that's how, objectively it looks like I'm working harder and stuff, but honestly, I just kind of do what I do. And I think that's kind of the mindset that you need to adopt, that you don't really care and you're kind of detached from having to outwork everyone, and you just take it at your own way and go your own path. So yeah, that's what I want to leave you with today, bro. If you found this video valuable, just leave a comment down below, or like maybe subscribe or something. Do all the YouTube algorithm shit. I don't really care. Go do like whatever task you have in your mind. Just get off YouTube. And as always, your potential is only limited by your intention. Take care, man.